playing Washburn currently, is that right? Did you play a...
Right now I play Dean guitar.
Okay, Dean, okay.
Dean,
yeah.
And I have Washburn as well.
Yeah.
But I have my Dean right now and Gibson Flying V.
Okay. And what do you tune to?
I tune to C sharp.
C sharp
standard.
Okay. C sharp standard. Yeah.
And on the new album, it's one song in B, B drop B.
Okay.
And one song in B standard.
Okay.
But mainly I tune my guitar C sharp standard.
Okay. And what string gauge do you use when you're tuning down that low?
I use Ernie ball strings. It's 12,
yeah.
56.
12 to 56?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking about to switch to 12, 60.
Does your live rig differ much from what you use in the studio in terms of amplification?
A little bit, but about guitars,
yeah.
I use the same guitars
yeah.
on stage,
yeah.
and the same effects.
Yeah.
I use whammy, digital whammy, and wah pedal, Steve Vai Bad Horsey too. That's what I use in the studio, and together with the digital delay by Boss.
Yeah.
That's what I use for recording last album, and that's what I have tonight. The same with the Gibson guitar and Dean. About amps and cabinets, I have different. Tonight I have Vader cabinets, and together with Randall Warhead and Angle special edition.
Okay.
And yeah, I trying. It's different the situation when you record in. You know, studio is different. In studio, I got so many amps.
Yeah.
I trying to look for the best sound. So for last album, I choose Bogner Eberschall tube head together with old great Excalibur. So you take my old this head is older than me for sure. It's like wow, so
nice. So after I spoke to Vogg, I snapped a picture of his live rig. So real quick here, just before we get back to the interview, there's a couple of important things I want to talk about in regards to it that I think young guitar players in the audience could learn from. I'm a big fan of a couple of the things that are going on here. As you can see, live here, he's using, again, a radial splitter going into two heads. Solid state one over here, the Warhead, and beside it is Engel Special Edition tube amp. Tube amps are a lot more fragile. That's probably why the tube amp's in a nice cushy road case. I'm a big fan of a stereo rig like this, as I already mentioned, and the main thing I want to talk about before we move on is the angle of the amps. Now, it may be difficult to tell from the picture, but the amps are angled towards the band, not the audience, so the band is over this way. And nothing in music, of course, is ever written in stone. Everything is situational, but I think most would agree that band members on stage need to hear each other, and there's all kinds of variables that can affect this. You have to take things like the size of the stage into consideration. Whether you are the headliner or an opener can be important. An opener doesn't always get, the A+ treatment in terms of preparation. If time is tight, you might not get a sound check, for example. If you don't have your own sound guy, you may end up with a sound guy that, maybe either just doesn't really care that much or just doesn't, know what is the best way to set up. I think a lot of young guitar players out there are influenced by seeing, well-known bands growing up, with walls of amps pointed at the audience, and figure that's the best way to do things. Most people just kind of, they aim their giant stacks at the audience, and of course, looks-wise, that can't be beat. It definitely looks cool. I won't disagree with that. But there's a couple of possible problems that can be created there. If you are the guitar player and the venue is a small to medium-sized stage, the members of the audience that are in front of you are likely to get blasted in the face with your large guitar sound and not get a particularly good balance of the entire band. You want the audience to hear a good mix of all instruments coming out of the PA, not just your guitar blasting them in the face. As well as that, depending upon the monitoring situation, your drummer and other band members may have a difficult time hearing you, which may affect the band's performance. If your amp is beside the drummer but pointing forward, he may have a hard time hearing you. So, if your amp is angled inwards towards the drummer and the rest of the band, it's likely going to help everyone hear each other better. Same setup works well, in my opinion. With two guitar players, you could have the one set up on one side of the stage pointing inwards, and then the other set up on the other side of the stage pointing inwards. I know it doesn't look as cool, obviously, but most of the time I think it's a way better way to do things. When you see a giant wall of Marshalls, that's usually just showbiz, basically. They're just for looks. It's pretty well known that, Ed Van Halen, Kiss, George Lynch, all these guys have had huge walls of amps when they play these huge concerts that are just for show. Mick Mars from Motley Crue used to apparently have 30 dummy Marshalls at one point. Kiss had pyrotechnics coming out of theirs, so it's kind of extra obvious there that they're just for show. I actually heard from a fairly reputable source that in the 80s George Lynch actually had collapsible stacks, so they could actually just be folded up after the show, which I think is hilarious and awesome. So anytime that you guys see a giant wall of stacks, it's pretty much, as far as I know, always just good showbiz. And the only person I know of that I've ever heard claim that he turns all of them on is Yngwie Malmsteen. Apparently he requests that there be 30 Marshall heads and 28 cabs for him to play a show. I have a feeling that that's just sort of like an emperor has no clothes on type situation. People probably just don't want to deal with Yngwie's giant ego. His techs are probably like, oh yeah, of course, Mr. Malmsteen. Oh, absolutely, they're all turned on, Mr. Malmsteen. Don't get me wrong, totally love Yngwie. Anyone who can commit to dressing like a pirate for 30 years, no matter what the trend, is, friggin' awesome in my books. And for sure, as a guitar player, he's one of my biggest influences. But the guy's ego is, it's definitely legendary, to say the least. And I can't imagine a sound guy in techs wanting to have to deal with 30 Marshall amps every show. One other thing to notice here is that the cabs aren't on wheels. So they're coupled down here right up against the stage. The stage, of course, is wooden, and that way they'll sort of reverberate through the floor somewhat for a bigger sound again. And I think that's all to mention. So back to things with Vogg. Any modifications to your guitars or amps? Do you have anything modified, or is everything pretty much stock?
It's pretty much like I didn't touch.
Yeah.
It's all like came to me. Little bit about how it looks like guitar. Mm-hmm. I have new top. My Dean guitar is silver. It looks killer. My friend from Poland.
Yeah.
My guitar was broken on the airport. Top was broken. Dean, he put nice top, silver top, Titan. His original idea for this. But I mean, in general,
pretty much stock. Everything you find what you like and you go with that. Yeah. Who were some of your biggest musical influences growing up, and any particular musicians that had a big influence on you as a guitar player?
Dimebag Darrell, Kirk Hammett, James Hetfield, Andy LaRocque, Dave Mustaine, Marty Friedman, lot, Steve Vai, Malmsteen, lots of guys.
Yeah.
Also not just guitar players, like piano players, drummers,
Yeah.
all, you know, musicians.
Any bands from Canada that you're into that you like?
Neuraxis,
Yeah.
Voivod,
Yeah.
Strapping Young Lad,
Yeah. Yeah.
11,000 band.
Yeah.
Fucking awesome.
Any advice for the kids out there on how to get to this level in the metal world?
You have to just keep it going, man. No give up. You know, practice.
Yeah.
Do it the best you can. Looking for good sound, hearing. Be smart when you know do
Yeah.
it. I don't know. Just this job. It's not easy. It's you have to be take your time, practice, sit down, think, do it, trying. Tune your guitar well.
That's a big one.